Imagine standing on a stage in front of thousands of people. Your heart is racing. Your hands are shaking. You feel like every single person is watching you, judging you, waiting for you to make a mistake. Now here's the surprising truth. Most of them aren't thinking about you at all. They're thinking about themselves, their problems, their fears, their insecurities. And realizing this completely changed my life. Because for years, I was trapped by one question. What will people think? That question controlled everything. The clothes I wore, the things I said, the dreams I chased, even the opportunities I avoided. I wasn't living my life. I was living according to other people's expectations. Maybe you felt this too. Maybe you've stayed silent when you wanted to speak. Maybe you've avoided starting a business, posting a video, asking someone out, or pursuing a dream because you are afraid of being judged. If so, you're not alone. Psychologists have studied this fear for decades. One of the most famous discoveries comes from psychologist Thomas Gilovich. He called it the spotlight effect. The spotlight effect is our tendency to believe that other people notice us much more than they actually do. In one experiment, participants were asked to wear embarrassing t-shirts and enter a room full of strangers. The participants believed that almost everyone noticed their shirts. But in reality, very few people even remembered what they were wearing. Think about that. The embarrassment existed mostly in their minds. And the same thing happens to us every day. We think people are constantly watching us, judging us, analyzing every move we make. But most people are simply focused on themselves. When I learned this, it felt like someone opened the door to a prison I didn't even realize I was trapped inside. But there was another lesson I had to learn. Philosopher Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That quote hit me hard, because I suddenly understood something important. I cannot control what people think about me, no matter what I do. If I succeed, some people will criticize me. If I fail, some people will criticize me. If I stay quiet, someone will judge me. If I speak up, someone will judge me. There is no version of life where everyone approves of you. And chasing universal approval is one of the fastest ways to lose yourself. For years, I was trying to make everyone happy, and ironically, I wasn't even happy myself. Then one day, I made a decision. I stopped asking for permission. I stopped waiting for approval. I stopped trying to be perfect. Instead, I focused on being authentic. At first, it felt uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. When you stop seeking approval, it can feel like stepping into cold water. Your mind starts asking questions. What if people laugh? What if they reject me? What if they think I'm stupid? But then, something incredible happens. You realize you survive. The criticism doesn't destroy you. The rejection doesn't end your life. The negative comments don't stop the sun from rising tomorrow. You keep going, and each time you do, you become stronger. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." Think about that for a moment. Real confidence doesn't come from getting everyone to like you. Real confidence comes from liking yourself. It comes from knowing your values. It comes from respecting your own decisions. It comes from understanding that your worth is not determined by someone else's opinion. The truth is, many people spend their entire lives trapped by fear of judgment. They never start the business. They never write the book. They never pursue the dream. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, but because they care too much about what other people might think. And years later, they look back with regret. The famous psychologist Abraham Maslow once said, "In any given moment, we have two options, to step forward into growth or step back into safety." Most people choose safety. But growth happens when you're willing to be misunderstood. Growth happens when you're willing to look foolish. Growth happens when you're willing to disappoint some people in order to stay true to yourself. Today, when someone disagrees with me, I listen. When someone gives useful advice, I learn. But I no longer allow every opinion to control my direction. Because I finally understand this. The people who matter don't require you to be perfect. And the people who demand perfection should not control your life. So if you're waiting for everyone to approve of your choices before you start living your dream, stop waiting. That day will never come. Someone will always have an opinion. Someone will always have criticism. Someone will always have doubts. Let them. Because your future is too important to be controlled by the fears of strangers. The day I stopped caring what people think wasn't the day people stopped judging me. It was the day their judgment stopped controlling me. And from that moment forward, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. Real freedom. The freedom to be myself. The freedom to grow. The freedom to fail. The freedom to succeed. And most importantly, the freedom to finally live my own.